Hey guys, Rocket Rob here, and I'm back with another episode of Top 5 of a Type, and this week it's going to be Ice. Ice is not one of my favourite types. I don't like playing defensively, and as an Ice deck user, you kind of need to wait for the enemy to attack you, so I don't use them a lot, but they are a very interesting deck. They're frustrating to go up against, and they've got some good synergy with if you get a good Ice deck together. So we're going to have a look now at the top 5 Ice types. Our first one is Mega Glalie. So Mega Glalie, for those who don't know, obviously Mega evolves from Glalie, and at level 5 it has 0 miss. So here's its wheel. So basically it's got a huge gold, huge white, and that huge sheer cold as well. That sheer cold can knock opponents out straight away. It's a really, really good figure. The only thing is I don't really rate Glalie itself that high. Otherwise Mega Glalie would have been higher on this list. But if we have a look at it, it's a pretty good figure. When it's knocked out, it can return to Glalie without moving to the PC. That's pretty cool. So you can put some pressure on your opponent if you can sneak it up towards their goal. You can, really make them, I guess, even if they knock you out, you can still take a goal, which I've been caught out on a few times, unfortunately. So yeah, the sheer cold will knock the opponent out, but if the battle opponent is already frozen, it actually will exclude them from the duel, which is pretty cool. Ice Shard is a gold at 110. That's going to hit for an extra 20 as well. Opposing Pokemon within 2 steps of this Pokemon spin. If the result is anything other than a blue attack, the effects of sphere plates used on these Pokemon are nullified, so it can remove spheres, which is pretty cool. And then Blizzard. If this Pokemon is knocked out, all adjacent Pokemon become frozen. This figure is awesome. It's just, I don't really rate the base form that high, which is why it sits in number 5 and not higher on this list. But we're going to move on now to our number 4 pick, and it is Alolan Sandshrew. This is crazy. This is, I think, the first time that a common figure has appeared on one of these lists, and it's really, really cool. This figure at level 5 has 0 miss. It can evolve into Alolan Sandshrew as well, which is pretty awesome as well. It has a big blue protect, and then it has Icicle Sphere, which if you level that up, it takes up a huge chunk of the wheel, and every time it spins, it does 30 damage. So you can do a huge chain and pretty much take out anything with that, which is pretty awesome. But it's actually the ability that is what rates it so highly, in my opinion. If this Pokemon is attacked, it may move underneath the attacking Pokemon and to a point near it, or next to it, sorry, and the battle does not occur. This Pokemon can MP move past Ice-type Pokemon on the field as well. So it can maneuver through an Ice deck. It can set up some nice surrounds with that jumping over ability, and if you've got an inexperienced opponent, they can really fall for that and get and you can really trouble them. So I think this figure definitely deserves the number 4 position, and I really like it. Next up, in number 3, we have Alolan Vulpix, another Alolan figure, but this one is a rare. It evolves into Alolan Ninetales, but I personally think the Vulpix is better with this ability that it has. So firstly, it has a huge Ice Beam, so it can freeze figures just by getting knocked out. Nice. And Baby Doll Eyes, which will turn all the blue attacks of its opponent to misses during the next turn. But if you have an opposing Pokemon that is frozen, it can switch places with that. Well, any frozen Pokemon for that matter. Or if the Pokemon is on the bench, it may switch with one of your... Okay, sorry, so if the Pokemon is on the field, it can switch with a frozen Pokemon. If it's on the bench, it can switch with one of your frozen Pokemon. Which can be pretty awesome. If you manage to freeze your opponent's figure on the goal, you can instantly switch with Alolan Vulpix and win the game, which is, pretty awesome. And that's why it comes in at number 3. Next up, we have Froslass, which is an amazing figure. This thing, oh man, it frustrates the hell out of me. It has some really cool attacks, so let's have a look. Blizzard, if this Pokemon is knocked out, all adjacent Pokemon become frozen, so it can freeze its opponents quite easily. Diamond Dust, the battle opponent becomes frozen, and then Destiny Bond. It is a ghost type Pokemon, so it has Destiny Bond and also the ability to move through any Pokemon on the field, opposing for Pokemon that obviously can't block it. So it's a pretty good wheel there, and if it moves through a figure that is frozen, it takes it to its own PC, so to your PC, which is pretty lethal. Really, you can completely nullify an opponent's deck just by taking a couple of Pokemon away from them. So Frostlass gets that number 2 position. That Diamond Dust can be lethal, and then moving through with a Ghost ability as well. Yeah, insane. Finally, we come to the champion of the Ice deck, and no surprises here, it is Kyurem. It is the staple and the backbone of any Ice deck. And it can hit hard. It's hitting for 150 on its outrage there, but the main thing is its Ice Beam attack, which, 110, it's not going to knock everything out, but it will freeze the opponent if it gets knocked out, which is pretty amazing. If you level that up quite high, you can, basically any Pokemon that attacks it, it can pretty much freeze them, which is cool. It's got the Fly as well, so you can get some lucky Fly Cheese wins as well. And the Glaciite, however you pronounce that, all opposing Pokemon on the field spin that are not fire, water, ice, or steel type spin, attach -1 MP markers to those that spin white attacks. Okay, so, that one isn't that useful, generally. But, the ability here, if this Pokemon is not affected by a special condition, then the frozen Pokemon within 2 steps of this Pokemon cannot be removed by tag. So, basically, you can lock down your opponents to the point where they can't unfreeze their Pokemon. If you have 2 Kyurems on the field, you can have them set up strategically. You could have all of your opponent's Pokemon frozen on the field and make them unable to move. If you're using it in combination with the Alolan Vulpix, you can kind of set up some traps and get your opponent. So you get your Kyurem on the goal and your opponent frozen both either side of you. They basically can't attack you in most cases. So this figure is absolutely vital in an Ice deck. The massive Ice Beam is huge and really comes in handy, and with that ability to lock down opposing frozen figures, that is definitely the #1 Ice Pokemon in my opinion. Let me know whether you agree with these choices. What would your top 5 Ice types be? And yeah, let me know which type you want me to do next. But for now, this is Rocket Rob, blasting off again. Thank you.